Welcome back to the lab Thursday morning. This morning I'm making a new fuel tank for the March. Reasonably big cavity to deal with there, bearing in mind it is in the front of the car, not in the back. If you have a bit of a whoopsie moment and bang into something quite hard here, you want to make sure what's in here is going to be up to the task and not just burst open like a balloon and turn the car into a barbecue. So previous videos somewhere we did this, whatever we want to call it, strut tower brace, chassis brace, bonnet latch holding bracket, which is really what it's more about than anything else. So taking that into account, we can only go so far with our dimensions for our fuel tank. We can go that wide, that far front to back, and we've got a given height to work with. You need to be able to get a fuel filler cap onto the top of it. I want to use the original one that we've got. I also need to put a fuel panel on the top of the tank so we can get our internal pumps in and out. So this is the old beastie here. There was some gold foil on the front of it there to reflect the heat from the radiator, which seemed to make a difference. It's got a little bit of a notch out of it here to accommodate the front differential front mount bracket. Mouthful there. We could probably put those nuts to the other side. In fact, I could go and get some countersunk bolts, put countersunk bolts into the bracket, and then would require much less of a notch, give us another few, I don't know, a half a cup of extra fuel compared to what we've got there, or just same and it'll be fine. We can go quite a bit deeper on this side. I've got a bit of a sump on it as such. Don't look at the welding too hard on that. That was done in a real hurry. I've made a start on this. So that one's made from 1.6 mil thick aluminium, which is you probably want to make it from thicker than that. This is from 2 mil thick, and I've put a return or a fold or whatever you want to call it on all sides, to even this one, to strengthen it up where all the welding is, just to make it pretty good, you know, nice and strong, as good as we can get. The original one had the foam inside it, fuel tank foam. Not recommended for E85 ethanol fuels, the issue being the water, apparently, that the ethanol can store actually degrades the foam, and then the foam falls to bits. Bad things happen, filters clog and all that sort of carry on. So this puppy here will have baffles inside it and one-way valves. I'm going to call them valves. They will be technically a valve, but they won't look like a valve as most people would recognize it. So I got this far now, and then I've decided I better stop and we better deal with what's sitting on the bench right there. If you watched yesterday's video and the day before, you'll know exactly what that's all about. So we've got to get that back, well, into the patrol. So I just wanted to get that far and throw it in there and make sure that what I've designed is going to actually fit before I go too much further. That will have a sump on it, similar but different to what that one was. That one, obviously, you see the two holes there. There was some, basically they were bulkhead fittings. They came from, well, here they are here. They came from the original tank that was in the March, which was a plastic tank. So they had the bulkhead style fittings on it. When I built this one, when I did the four-wheel drive conversion, and time was of the essence and simplicity was good, and keeping costs down, I used those bulkhead fittings on there. That's fine. They didn't leak. There weren't any issues there at all. This one here, we're doing it slightly differently. Slightly the same, but slightly differently. Right, enough babble. Let's go pop the bonnet on that patrol and put this one here in and see whether it's any good or not. Yep, that fits. That's not exactly how I was going to install it, but that works. There might be a revision on the notch for the front bracket mount thing. Cool. Okay. All right. I'll leave it alone. I'll put this up in the air, actually, is what I'll do. I'll close the bonnet and I'll put it up in the air and I'll put the BMW in here and I'll bring the patrol in. Whoops. How'd that happen? Right, we better wrap this up real quick. I've got to go inside. A thing, I'll show you the thing in a second. Another thing. This is coming out, okay? So, beefy thing. Worst welding in the world. I mean, this here, look, everybody makes excuses, right? But that there welding machine there, even though it's got a relatively expensive trigger on it, handpiece, we'll call it, the button, it's bloody hard to keep the button held down for long periods of time. It takes, especially if you're wearing the welding gloves. I tend to wear other gloves normally. You've got to press it really hard and hold it really hard to keep it going, which is frustrating when you're doing a relatively nice job. I mean, that's okay, right? That's not backyard bullshit. That's good. And then damn thing turns off. You'll start again. So I'm not very good at stopping and starting, but all the corners, don't worry about the corners. The corners are a bit harder because I did this on the corners, right? And so then you've got to fill in a hole about that big. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So never mind. Anyway, biggerer. It is biggerer than that one. Yeah, why not? Let's chuck it up there. It's going to fall down, right? But anyway, there's that compared to that. We've gained some volume. I haven't taken this out of that yet. We might not have to. I may have already mentioned that it's late in the day and I've forgotten if I have or I haven't. If I've said this before, then too bad. The front diff bracket bolt thingies, we may not have to make clearance for those. I was going to try that out on the back lawn actually, but I better not do that. A slightly different sump arrangement, and this is to fit our lovely in-tank, sorry about all the noise, our in-tank pumps. The little socks will fit one way and one the other way. That's only, I don't know, that might hold a litre and a half, I suppose, in there. Baffle plate, which I would have done more on, but it's nearly 6:30 and I've really got to go inside. And this is my valve that I was talking about. Pretty good, eh? So this goes inside and it goes this way. So if the fluid tries to go from where we are to the other side of that baffle, good luck with that. There will be some little nooks and crannies that it can go around, like a notch at the end there, which is to give us clearance from that fold. So yeah, that'll work. You wouldn't do that in a factory car because it'll be noisy, right? And long term, that's going to wear and might possibly stop working eventually when it wears. What I will do possibly is a slightly different arrangement depending... Oh no, I don't have to. Sorry, I was going to say I might put rib nuts on here so that we can get the screws from other side through this panel here, but I don't have to do that because I'm putting a fuel panel in here to get our fuel pumps in and out, so that's all good. That'll be perfect. Right, it's 6:20 according to my clock, which runs slow. I'm going inside. All right, cheers, bye. That's looking good, isn't it? That's looking really nice. Cool. See ya.